Welcome parents and carers to our parent information presentation. I hope this is really helpful for you. So let's get straight into it. I want to introduce you to our team. You will see there who is in stage 1A, 1B and 1C. Hopefully you're becoming more familiar with these faces, but I've put them up there just to put the names to faces, but also for you to recognise how united and cohesive we are as a stage. So even though we're three separate classes, we're teaching the same content. It might look a little bit different from class to class, but we are teaching the same content. We are covering the same concepts. We're doing a lot of the same things. We plan together as teachers, and we collaborate a lot. So it's really cohesive, but also the children will be moving around and spending time in different classes. So literacy, maths, rotations, they will be moving into different rooms. So if your child's with Mrs. Ilch in 1B, you may just find that they're actually in 1C for maths rotations, and they might be in 1A for literacy rotations, depending on your child. So they do really get to know all of us, and we become quite united as a stage. Next slide, I'm going to go over the units that we have for this year. There's 4 really different units that are really engaging and interesting for the children, and that align with the national curriculum. So the first one is Growing Older and Wiser. It is a unit, so this is what we're starting off with this year. It's looking at identity, so getting the children to look at themselves, and we're asking questions like, how can I be safe? How can I be healthy? What does that look like? How can I be healthy, have a healthy mind, a healthy body, a healthy spirit? And how can I make good choices? How can I be a good friend? How can I make good choices in the classroom? It's really exploring and unpacking everything around that. So it's not about nutrition and how to be active specifically. It's covering a really health and well-being in all areas. So that is a really interesting and quite self-focused, self-reflective unit about themselves, and looking at how they can manage their emotions and all those things that are really relevant for term 1 in stage 1. The second unit for term 2 is called Stimulating Science. We do science experiments, and we are looking at change in the different strands of science. So we look at how animals change in biology. We look at physics. We look at chemistry. How do materials change structure? So it's almost like a real introduction to science at their level. We do science experiments, and it's very engaging and hands-on, and the children really love learning about that unit. Term 3, we look at the unit is called Light and Sound, and it initially looks at how light and sound and shadows can tell a story, and then we delve a little bit deeper about how to tell a story. We look at fairy tales, traditional tales, and the children actually by the end of the unit then start to share their own stories and present a story to the class. So it's a really rich, imaginative unit. The 4th one is Through Generations, and this is a beautiful unit about making connections with our past and looking towards our future. It's looking at our heritage and our culture of our own families, and then it's also looking at what is the culture and heritage of the people that live around us, and what is the history around the people that live around us as well. So that is our year in a nutshell, and there is a lot of hands-on learning, a lot of discovery and student-led learning in those units, which is really good. And you will see that we will integrate it into their literacy, into their maths time as well, so it becomes quite inclusive. This slide is just going to quickly highlight the weekly timetable for you. So hopefully by now you'll be familiar with the uniform days. You'll see that it's sport Monday, Tuesday, formal Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, and house on Friday. Just double check on the parent manual about uniform there, because sometimes there is a little bit of confusion around formal shoes and jewellery and things like that. If we jump back to the timetable here, I just want to highlight to you that you will notice Monday to Thursday there is a literacy block from 9 till 10. That is really key, crucial learning time for the children, and we're focusing on spelling and reading in that time. Then Fridays, you'll notice our chapel and alternating assembly time has changed till 9:30 on a Friday, and all parents are welcome to come and attend at the CCC. The other things you might notice is Monday is a day where the children get to go and do PE and Japanese and music. Tuesday's another PE day, and Wednesday also they have library borrowing, so they will need to bring their library bag for that. This slide is all about home learning, so I just want to draw your attention to this particularly because this is something that you're going to be engaging with your children at home. So it's good for you to know exactly what it is so that it can be a positive time. There are 4 different sections for the home learning. The first section is their reading homework. This is number 1 because it is primarily one of the most important things that we would love for you to be doing with your child. It is such a valuable time and they learn so much through this time. So from Monday of week 3, your child will start bringing home a reader, and we will make sure that goes into their purple reading folder, or a blue one, there are 2. And that will be a book that is at their level that they can read confidently to you. So we just want to encourage them to be reading and sharing that with you, and then for you to log the name of the book in their reading log so that we know what books they have read. If you have further questions about how to read with your child, please come and speak to us as teachers, and we would love to talk to you a bit more if you're unsure about that. Number 2 is the maths element to their home learning. So we will be sending home their Think Mentals text, which is their home learning maths book. They will do 1 unit a week, and each unit has 5 days for you to focus. So if you want to do it over 5 days, you can. If you want to do it in bigger increments, that is fine too. But we just want to make sure that they're only doing the 1 unit per week. And also for the children that are finding it a little bit more tiring, those first 5 questions we call the must-do questions, and the remaining 6 to 10 are the can-do. So they're optional. So if you find your child is getting a little bit tired, just focus on those first 5 and you don't need to worry about the remaining unless your child's up to that and is keen to do it. Number 3 is segmenting. This is more of what you would remember at school as a spelling homework, home learning, but we call it segmenting because it is actually different to trying to memorize the word. Your children are becoming more confident with this, but I have a slide coming up next that's going to demonstrate just what that looks like so that you're more confident about how to do that with your child, and that'll come home as a worksheet glued in the home learning scrapbook. The 4th element to the home learning is the high frequency word booklets, and some of the children in year 2 have already mastered those words, so they won't need one. But most of the children in year 1 are still working through those words that they are going to come across a lot in text that they need to be able to identify and read quickly so that they can have momentum with their reading. So those words, we would encourage you to be practicing them at home. We will be testing them and giving them new words regularly as we see that they've mastered them. Segmenting is fairly straightforward, and once I demonstrate it to you, it will make a lot more sense. So as you can see the word bin, if we segment this word into its sounds, it would be b, I, n, and there would be 3 sounds, which is why we've got the number 3 and then the 3 letters b, I, n. That's fairly straightforward, although once you come down to a word like bell, You now have 3 sounds, however, you don't have 3 letters. B, E, U, spelling bell, has 3 sounds, but the 2 L's make 1 sound, yet they're 2 letters, which we call a digraph. So what we are getting the children to do is segment the word into sounds, because the way that we teach spelling is the children, once they are confident spelling all the sounds that exist, they can ultimately approach any word that they would like to in their writing. So they are doing this at school all the time. Our year ones have been doing it in prep, and they are quite confident doing it, but it's just really good for you to understand exactly how that works. Excursions in stage 1 look like an excursion in term 3. That aligns with our storytelling unit. So it will be going to a performing arts centre and seeing either a puppet show or a story production. We'll also hopefully be having an incursion in term 2 where someone will be coming here to the school and presenting to the children some science experiments and with a science focus. Parent helpers. So this is your part to have a little look in your diary, see if there's an opportunity where you think you might be able to come and volunteer some of your time. You're more than welcome, and we love any support or help that you can provide if it's a possibility. So if you can contact your class parent and let them know what day you're available and for how long, there's definitely a need for some parent help during literacy, our literacy block between 9 and 10 in the mornings, but also any time that you maybe can offer for our high frequency word program would be helpful as well. You don't need a blue card, it's just a matter of coming in and volunteering that time, which we would really appreciate. That's everything I need to share with you in this presentation. I'd really encourage you to come along on Thursday evening to listen to Mrs. O'Donnell and the address to parents for all of the junior school. And then if you would like to come back to our learning spaces, you are more than welcome to do so. We're going to have a meet the teacher and a Q&A time if you have some specific questions that you would like answered. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for listening.